Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Sonder Social. I am joining you all from San Francisco, and I am really excited to get into kind of my first social of the year, I think. Wait, did I do a weekly setup? I might have. No, I was the stage manager. So, my first facilitated social of 2026. I'm really excited to be with you all this evening. I'm joined by the one and only Bailey, who is dialing in from the Tennessee area. So we are super excited to have you. Bailey will help answer any questions you might have in the chat. And I am really excited to get started. This has been, I feel like this has been like the first real week of the year because Monday was rough at work, but we have Sonder socials to look forward to break up the work week. So I'm excited to be with you all this evening. Just a reminder, for folks who are new, I do see a lot of familiar names, but for anyone who is new, um, make sure to double check that your blue toggle is set to everyone in the chat because that's how we primarily communicate with each other for the hour. Um, also, just if you are new, feel free to shout yourself out. Just say, I'm new. We want to wish you a warm welcome. We are so excited to have all of you in this hour. It goes by really, really quickly, and we have a lot of activities to do. So I'm excited, to dive in together. But yeah, I think those are the main pointers for you all. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first of all, let's welcome some newbies. So we have a couple. We have, let's see, we have Sylvie, we have Michelle. Amazing. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Oh, we have somebody who's returning after a year. Excited. Well, welcome and welcome back to everybody. I'm excited to talk about alignment together. Okay. So before we get started, since we do have a couple of newbies, just a reminder that these are our community guidelines. So be kind and courteous to yourself and others. No promotions or spam. Respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. Limit any repetitive product and accessory questions or customer care inquiries to our team at hello and silkandsonder.com. And our Sonder socials, especially these ones, are a great place for not only for us to connect, but also to get the most out of these prompts. Because oftentimes, you may take it into a certain direction, but so many folks in Silk and Saunders community have so many fun ways of taking these pages and really making them their own. And I'll help like guide you through some of these exercises as well, because there's some things that maybe we can dive in a little bit deeper together. So I'm excited for this social. And let's first talk about this month's theme of alignment. I love this theme. I think it's so fitting for January. And it's a good time to take inventory of kind of like what is actually serving me, what is aligning with me, what isn't in alignment with me, and really filtering the stuff that's not in alignment with you out. So, thinking about kind of as we're moving into this fresh year, thinking about kind of what feels like safe with you, what feels like it's aligned with kind of what your intentions are. I think, especially as we begin the year, we're a little bit more intentional. So, thinking about kind of what is aligning with those intentions is really important. So, think about that. We'll dive in a little bit deeper with that alignment inventory exercise. So, I'm excited to kind of dive in together. And yeah, so this is going to be the agenda for this evening. So, we're going to start off with the Wheel of Life, which is a great precursor to the alignment inventory. And then we'll kind of close out the social with the create your own bingo. So we have three big exercises for this hour. And I think Wheel of Life is super exciting because it's kind of our time to really take inventory of what's going well, what's not going well. And then your alignment inventory is also kind of identifying what is going well, what's not going well. But like Wheel of Life is a good holistic way of identifying kind of the different facets of life. All right, so we'll turn to page 7 of your journal. So go ahead and turn to the page 7. You'll see that Wheel of Life. And this is a great exercise to really kind of identify how we are doing in each of our domains. So this really isn't about fixing everything at once. It's really about almost like awareness. So this wheel kind of helps us zoom out a little bit and see how these different areas of life interact and also intersect with us. And just remember, even if you score a certain area as a low score, it's not a failure. It's actually an indicator. So think about that as you're kind of identifying your 1 to 10 for each of these domains. And remember, there's no perfect wheel. Like, no one's gonna have, I mean, maybe you might have, but I'm pretty sure most of us aren't going to have tens across the board. That's just not how life works. So there's just going to be lower areas, and that's okay. And I love this activity. We do this activity like periodically here at Silk and Sonder, and I kind of feel like it's a good time to do it because it always changes. It's never stagnant. So it's kind of nice to just score it. So just remember, like, be honest with yourself. You don't have to, there's no one's grading this. This is purely for you. And think about how life feels today in this moment, not how you want it to be. So think about in the present, be honest. How does this feel today? So think about what that is. And for each of these domains, like for career, think about if you feel energized or drained by work. Are you growing? Do you feel like you're getting opportunity? Are you feeling challenged? Does your work align with your values and your long-term vision? For financial, think about are you feeling safe or stressed or empowered when you think about money? Do you feel like you spend a lot during the holidays like me and then feeling like, oh no, I need to reel it back? Think about what that is. Personal growth, are you intentionally growing or are you just kind of getting through the weeks? Do you feel a little stagnant? Do you feel like you are becoming the person that you want to be? Spiritual, do you feel connected to something bigger than yourself? Do you have those spiritual practices in your day to day? Do you feel aligned with your inner compass? Health, do you feel really energized and rested and cared for in your body? Do you feel physically energized? Do you feel mentally and physically healthy? Fun and play. Do you feel like you incorporate adventure? Do you schedule that time to have fun and feel light once in a while? Romance and intimacy. Do you feel that desired connection and emotionally safe? If you're single, are you dating with intention or do you feel like you're reaching burnout? If you're in a relationship, is there something that you want to do more in your relationship that's much more nourishing? Think about kind of what those are. And then family and friends, do you feel supported in your relationships? Community, do you feel like you have a strong sense of community? Home environment, do you feel like your space is your calm space, or do you feel like it's a little chaotic? Those are kind of all those different areas. Of course, if you feel like any of these domains are not really applicable to you, you can feel free to recategorize them to a better category that feels like it's more aligned. But go ahead and score this. And then once you've scored it, try to think about kind of on the lower scores, think about what you can do to increase your level of fulfillment for some of these actions. So think about what that is, and then I'll also show you some examples here of how people fill these out. So, Wheel of Life you can be really creative. I do it this way. I do this like I think it's called a spider chart. Oh gosh, I don't know if that's correct, but I do it this way. But I love these different approaches, like filling it out, writing inside the wheel, color coding it, making it a fun pattern. Um, I love the different markers. Again, like so beautiful. I love the different font and the different like way that people are writing it. And then some people just instead of scoring it up here, they scored it down here and they wrote out something that they want to do for each of the categories. I think that's a good option too. So there's a lot of different ways you can take it. So okay, that the two lines, it's actually not mine. So I'm not sure what the red and blue is. Maybe it's like the beginning of the month and the end of the month for that person. So I'm not entirely sure why there are two lines, but it is a cool option as well. This is mine, so I'll show you mine. It's kind of boring, but this is my shape. I would say I have a 10 in my home environment. It's my own place, so I have a lot of control of how it looks day to day, how clean it is. I love my view. It's like my favorite part of my apartment, built-in art for me. So I spend a lot of time in my apartment. I work from home, so my home is really important to me. So I feel like so far it feels like a 10. But yeah, and I think my lowest is probably community. I think as I've been in, even though I'm in a city and technically I should probably have a strong sense of community because there's so many people in San Francisco, sometimes I feel like I do not prioritize it at all. So I don't feel like I have a strong sense of community besides obviously Sonder fam. But anyways, I'll give you all some time. Oh yeah, and then here I'll hop between the two slides, but I'll give you some time to fill out your Wheel of Life. All right. Thank you all for taking the time to fill out that wheel of life. I know it's kind of a good eye opener of kind of the areas we're not doing so great in and the areas that we are thriving in. I would say that everyone who is at the social right now, their personal growth cannot be less than a five because you are all here showing up for yourself. And this is the step to like really grow as a person. So I hope none of you scored it below a five because I feel like you are putting in the work. You're here and growing yourself. So you should always give yourself kudos, for showing up. So, we will now move on to the next activity. I just wish we had like 2 hours because I feel like I don't want to rush into these activities, but we have two more things to go through. So, if you didn't finish your Wheel of Life, feel free to, um, revisit that. And maybe, yeah, I really like that inspiration of like maybe re checking in at the end of the month. A lot can happen in that 1 month. So, just remember, like, we are evolving beings. We are never stagnant, especially the people that are a part of this community. I know we all have a ton going on in our lives. So, just remember that it is okay if you scored low in some areas. Okay. We will now move on to the alignment inventory. So turn to page 15. So I'll give you all a second to get into that page. And here we see kind of like a grid at the top, and then we see these two boxes. So I'm going to first break this activity up as we're going to first focus on that grid at the top, that table, and then we will kind of fill out those reflection questions at the bottom together after we've done the top. So for the top, let's read the page. So it says, assess these areas of your life with honest curiosity. Think about if your actions match your intentions and values. So here we see a couple different areas of life. We have to answer these questions. Is this area aligned? Yes or no? Why or why not? And what's one small shift towards alignment? So I have some like guidance here on how to fill this out. So really base it off of how it feels overall, not just on one week. So really think about it from a holistic perspective. Think about because, like, for example, sometimes I'm having a great physical health week where I'm knocking out my workouts. And then there are weeks like this week, which I feel like a failure because my workouts that I had planned, I've just been overwhelmed with work. So I've had to work every evening the past couple of days. So unfortunately, I feel like my workout routines got kicked out of my priority list, which isn't great. So think about kind of holistically each of these areas. Think about why or why not. So, what behaviors really support this alignment? What habits and choices pull you away from it? What are you overextending, avoiding, or settling? And what's one small shift toward alignment? Michelle asked a great question. So, what does it mean for something to be aligned? Think about like alignment doesn't necessarily mean perfection. It really means kind of like your direction. So what's your guide? What's your North Star? What's your compass say? So like I would say alignment is really dependent on kind of how you're defining it and it's so personal. So when we're really thinking about alignment, think about okay, what is your kind of steady state? What is the state that you feel like is good for you? It's obviously going to range from person to person, but think about kind of what that threshold is for you. For example, I would say like work and career, my alignment would be I feel like I'm challenged. I feel like I'm growing. I feel like I'm supported by my peers and my boss. I feel like I matter in the workplace, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. I feel fulfilled in terms of like my growth potential and kind of where I want to grow intellectually. So like that's kind of how I would define alignment for work and career. But it could be completely different for somebody who's not in my job, right? So that's kind of how I would think of alignment. And yeah, so I'll give you all some time to really think about kind of for each area of your life, really ask yourself, what do I say I value here? How do my current actions actually look day to day when I zoom out? And do those things really match? That's kind of how I would perceive alignment. Are you in alignment with your values? Yeah, Betsy, that's great. Okay, cool. So I'll give you all some time to fill this out, and then we'll regroup together for the last two questions at the bottom. All right, I'm just checking in. I love reading through the chat. Thank you all for being so vulnerable with each other. I think it's like really rare to have a safe space where you feel like you can really just say what's going on in your life, and especially as we're filling out these journal prompts and really taking really reflecting on these different areas of our life. Um, I think it's really just good to really be honest with ourselves. And thank you all for kind of sharing. And yes, I think there's certain areas of life that may not be like a direct, like maybe you're not focusing on your work and career. Maybe you're retired, or maybe, that's just not in your wheelhouse. You can obviously change that to something else that drives you, right? So, whether it be something that you're passionate about or something that is more self-care, there's a lot of different ways you can take it. So, thank you all for kind of taking that time to fill out your alignment inventory. So now we'll move forward into these two reflection questions, which are: which area feels most in alignment? How can you maintain that? So that's the box on the left. And then on the box on the right, we have which area is most out of alignment and what's the cost of not addressing it. So these are some guiding questions. So, thinking about what area feels most in alignment, what am I doing consistently that's working here? Is it making sure that you have a proper sleep schedule. Are there certain things that you're saying no to that are helping you? Are there certain habits that you're implementing that help you? What are those things that are making you feel like you're more aligned in that domain? And maybe like what would need to change for this area to fall out of alignment? So thinking about kind of, okay, things are going well. These things are like objectively doing, like I feel like I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling excited with my physical health, my goals, they're being met. What is something that would make it you feel like you're not in alignment? So avoiding that would be kind of the goal. So alignment, remember, is something you tend, not something you achieve once. So it's consistency. It is habitual. So think about kind of how that is working out for you. And then the next question is a little bit harder. Which area is most out of alignment, and what's the cost of not addressing it? So when we think about what's the cost, there's a couple different costs that I want us to focus on. So the short-term cost, what am I tolerating day to day because of this misalignment? What is the long-term cost? If nothing changes, if I do nothing, that's different. What happens to me in 6 months? What happens to me in a year? Emotional cost. How does this misalignment make me feel about myself? What happens if I never address this? Um, do I feel misaligned? Do I feel like something's not in like a balance? Do I feel like I'm not showing up for myself in its full capacity because I feel like I'm neglecting something? So think about kind of both of these questions. I know the second question's a little harder. Amanda, I love that quote. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Exactly. And I all think that this group here is somebody who is embracing change because you're working on yourself, which is the hardest part. This is like one of the hardest things we can do. Really taking inventory and reflecting and thinking about what we can do differently. So, I feel like this group is somebody who actually cares about things that are out of alignment. So it'll be good to kind of reflect on these two questions. So I'll give you all some time. And we will regroup in a few minutes for the final activity this evening. All right. I hope you all have had some time to reflect on those last two questions on page 15. I know these both of these exercises were kind of heavy, so let's take a deep breath and just kind of relax a little bit. We have a little bit of time left for our final activity together, which is on page 21, which is your create your own bingo. So go ahead and flip to page 21. This is going to be kind of a nice closing activity where you get to do some fun self-care activities. You can kind of take it in any direction. I'm going to show you some examples of some bingo boards that have been created in the past. But if you go to your Silk and Sonder app, and you go to the Sonder Club, and then you go to the How To tab and scroll down, you'll see one of the inspiration kind of in the inspiration section, you'll see a section for bingo. So definitely check that out if you feel like you want to look at some other ways that people have filled out their bingo board. So yeah, just go to your how to, go to the categories, and then scroll down and you'll see bingo board there. So check that out for additional inspo, but I will also share some with you. So obviously I love a little infographic from Pinterest. So here are some great ones that I'll kind of keep these up on the slides as you fill them out for some inspo, but really thinking about kind of what are those self-care activities. I know we are coming from a big holiday break, and then we're kind of easing into January. I don't know if you all feel this way, but sometimes I feel like January is the longest month of the year. It goes by quite slowly. So December's like the fastest one, and then January feels like the slowest. So thinking about kind of what those self-care activities are, and just kind of having that as like your bingo board, and you can kind of have some fun crossing it off. Maybe it's like with stickers, or maybe it's with a fun marker. You can really get creative with it. So here's some like some inspiration for your self-care bingo board. Here are some January and winter themed activities you can incorporate. So, if it's snowing, if you're not in California and it's snowing by you, maybe you can do some stuff in the snow. I unfortunately cannot look for icicles here in California, but whatever, or snow tubing or any of these actually. But for folks that do have snow, you can do that. But I think for me, I've been really slipping on my reading. So I've been really intentional about making sure I read every day. And currently, I'm reading 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. So I love that book. It's been really, really great. So yeah, so I've been doing that. So that will be on my bingo board. And then you can also create your own bingo board. So here are some great examples. This one's mine actually on the right. This is like a fall themed one I did a while ago, but I made it kind of fun, put little doodles. My handwriting is so small, sorry. But yeah, I love when people get creative with it. There's so many fun little doodles. You can definitely have fun with this as well. So make sure to not take it too seriously. It doesn't have to be perfect, but here are some inspirational things that you can include into your bingo board. So I'll go ahead and share these slides and you can work on it, and then we will regroup at the end. We're almost there. I'm talking, but I was on mute. Unfortunately, the time has ended, which is crazy because I know there was so much work that was done in this hour. And if you didn't finish your bingo boards, that's okay. But I want to thank you all so much for spending this hour with us. Make sure to share your pages. It's really clearly we use a lot of examples from you all in these slides because they're so creative and so wonderful. So make sure to share that in Sonder Club. I'm so excited for the year to unfold for 2026. I have a good feeling about this year. I feel like we are all working towards alignment with our intentions, with our what we want in life, with our values, and we are being much more intentional about how we spend our time, our energy, and I am excited for each and every one of you to really step into your sense of alignment going forward. So thank you all for spending this hour with us and being so vulnerable in the chat. This is such a special social. Bailey went ahead and shared those links. So the app, if you don't have it, she's shared those links. There's a YouTube page. I will share my Spotify playlist that will have kind of some of the music that we listened to this evening. But yeah, that is it for this social. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.